If you've ever wondered what you would do if one impossible moment could change your entire life, stay with me until the end of this story, and before we begin, tap that like button and subscribe, because stories like this are why this channel exists, and you won't want to miss what happens when hope shows up in the most unexpected way. The sign was handwritten, taped crookedly to the chain-link fence of a dusty mining yard. If you can fix this Caterpillar 797F, I'll pay you $100,000. Most people laughed when they read it. Some took pictures. A few shook their heads and walked away. But when Daniel Harper read it, his heart didn't laugh. It clenched. Because Daniel wasn't just seeing a broken machine the size of a small house, he was seeing overdue rent, medical bills, and the quiet fear in his daughter's eyes every time she asked if everything was going to be okay. Daniel was a single dad, widowed for 3 years, raising 9-year-old Lily on his own. He used to be a heavy equipment mechanic before the shop he worked for shut down. Since then, life had become a cycle of temporary jobs, polite rejections, and nights spent staring at the ceiling, calculating numbers that never added up. Lily never complained. She did her homework at the kitchen table and pretended not to notice when the power flickered or when dinner was just toast and eggs again. That quiet bravery hurt Daniel more than any broken bone ever could. The Caterpillar 797F belonged to a mining company that had already given up on it. The truck was massive, expensive, and dead in the water. Specialists had come and gone. Parts had been replaced. Software reset. Nothing worked. Every day it sat there. The company lost money, and finally, out of frustration or desperation, the owner made the offer as a last-ditch gamble. $100,000 to anyone who could bring it back to life. Daniel stood at the fence for a long time. He hadn't touched a machine like that in over a year. His tools were old, his confidence even older, but something inside him whispered that walking away would hurt more than trying and failing. That night, Lily found him cleaning his tools at the kitchen table, his hands moving with a focus she hadn't seen in a long time. When she asked what he was doing, he smiled and said, "Just getting ready to try." The next morning, Daniel stepped into the mining yard with borrowed coveralls and a knot in his stomach. The workers watched him like they'd watched the others, with curiosity that leaned toward doubt. The owner barely looked up, just pointed at the giant machine and said, "If you fix it, you get paid. If not, you're done by sundown." No encouragement, no promises, just reality. Daniel didn't rush. He walked around the truck slowly, listening, touching, remembering. He didn't see just steel and wires. He saw patterns, habits, symptoms that told a story. The machine wasn't just broken, it was misunderstood. Everyone before him had been fighting the obvious problems. Daniel started asking quieter questions. Why did it fail only under load? Why did the errors contradict each other? Why did it almost work? Hours passed. Sweat soaked through his shirt. Doubt crept in. He thought about Lily waiting at home, about how stupid this might all be. At one point, a worker muttered that he was wasting his time. Daniel almost believed them, almost. Then he noticed something small, something everyone else had ignored because it didn't fit the usual checklist. It wasn't a single failed part, but a conflict between systems that were never meant to disagree. It was the kind of problem you only see when you've lived with machines long enough to understand their moods. Fixing it wasn't dramatic. No sparks flew. No heroic moment. Just patience, adjustment, and trust in experience that life had nearly beaten out of him. As the sun dipped low, the owner returned, ready to dismiss him like the rest. Daniel climbed down from the machine, wiped his hands, and said quietly, "Try it now." The engine turned. The ground trembled. The massive truck moved. Slow at first, then steady, alive again. The yard fell silent, then erupted. People stared like they'd just seen a miracle. The owner walked up, stunned, and asked how Daniel had done it. Daniel didn't brag. He just said, "I listened." The check was real. The money changed everything. But what mattered most came later that night, when Daniel handed Lily a house key and told her they were moving somewhere new. Somewhere safe. Somewhere hopeful. Lily hugged him like she was afraid to let go, and for the first time in years, Daniel cried without fear. This story isn't really about a machine or money. It's about not giving up when the world quietly expects you to. It's about showing up when no one believes in you, not even yourself. And if this story moved you, reminded you why perseverance matters, or gave you a little hope tonight, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because sometimes, the thing everyone else walks past is the very thing that can change your life, if you're brave enough to stop and try.